Welcome to this instruction video on DuoSoft Field, and in this instruction video I'll be demonstrating to you how to collect data with a total station using DuoSoft Field. So to get more into detail, let's start up DuoSoft Field and proceed. Okay, as it asks for a name, I'm going to leave the name as it is. This is the name I'm using. Okay, I'm going to select job. So I've already created a job that I've named Topo1, and this is the job that I'll be using to demonstrate to you how you go about collecting the data. So another thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to select connect to an instrument, and I'm going to use the simulator. Okay. From here, I'm going to proceed and select OK. Okay, since I want to collect data, I'm going to select survey. Okay. So this is the last orientation that was used when DuoSoft was used. So we don't want to work from this. We want to orientate with our own orientation. So I'm going to select orientate instrument. And from these four methods of orientation, I'm going to select control point to control point. So I'm going to be orientating from one control point to another. So I'm going to select two control points. So this is the control point where I've set up my total station, and this is the control point that I'll be using to orientate my total station to. So I have to put in an instrument height, and for this case my instrument height is 1.256. okay, and my target height is 1.8. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select calculate, and DuoSoft will calculate for me the joint direction from T1 to T2. So this is the angle that I'm going to set on my total station, and then I'm going to press measure after that. Okay, so I'm going to set the angle on my total station now, and now I'm going to press measure. So if this wasn't a simulation, this horizontal angle and vertical angle as well as the slope distance, this DuoSoft will get this information from the total station, and you won't have to input this data manually. Okay, so the horizontal angle that I'm going to use is 118.4716. This is what I'm getting, and the horizontal angle that I'm getting is 90.0558. Okay, and my slope distance is 41.761. okay, now this is the data that I've got, and I'm happy with it. From that, I'm going to select OK. Okay, so DuoSoft will compare the differences between the measured data and the calculated data. So as you can see here, the data there's 0 difference, 3 mils different, and a 0 difference. So I'm happy with this data. So I'm going to select use this DuoFix to apply this orientation. Okay, so that orientation has been applied. So what I want to do now is to collect data. So in order to do that, I have to select collect data. Okay, so from the video on how to import collection codes, you will remember that these are some of the collection codes that I had created files for and imported. So I've also copied them into this job. Okay, in this video we'll also look at how to use an offset measurement, and also how to use the map feature when collecting data. So let me collect my first point. So I'm not going to give the point names, I'm not going to give them alphanumeric names. They'll just be numbered. I'll just give them numbers. So it will just start from point 1, and I'll be using code to describe my points so that I can differentiate between different types of points. Okay, so if I select code, I'm able to see all the codes that I have there. If I wanted to edit one, I'll just long press on it and select edit, and I'll be able to see what the shortcode is and what the description is. Okay, so let me cancel that. Okay, for this case, the code that I'm going to use, let me say I'm going to use a side shot. Okay, my target height is 1.8 meters. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll press measure, and DuoSoft will okay, so what will happen is I sight to my target with my total station. I press measure on my DuoSoft, and DuoSoft will get the horizontal angle, vertical angle, as well as the slope distance from the total station. Okay, and in this case, the data that was collected is 338 degrees 06 minutes and 50 seconds. That's the horizontal angle. The vertical angle is 89 degrees 17 minutes and 20 seconds. And the slope distance is 54.173. Okay, after that I'm going to select OK, and DuoSoft will calculate the coordinates of this point that I'm collecting, as well as saving it in the memory. So you'll also see that that's the code that I was using. That's a side shot. Okay, so another way I can measure, but using the map feature, I would select map. Okay, so as you can see on this map, these are my control points, T1, T2, and this is point 1, the point that I just collected. So right now, if I measure, I'll be measuring point 2. That's why you have a 2 there. Okay, so if I select measure and save, I'll be able to measure to a new point, which is point 2, and save it as also. Okay, so let me select measure and save. Okay, so DuoSoft will get the horizontal angle, vertical angle, and slope distance from the total station, and that data it would get, for this case, let's say 343.0442. Okay, that's 343 degrees 4 minutes and 42 seconds. Okay, the vertical angle is 89 degrees 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Okay, and a slope distance of 45.132 meters. Then I'm going to select OK. DuoSoft saves point 2 and increments to the next point. So if you look on the map, there is my point 2. Okay, so that's how you use the map feature, and this way you are able to see immediately where your point is in this diagrammatic representation there. Okay, so let's go to, in order to exit the map, I'll select no map and go back to the collecting data page. Okay, so another way that I will do a collection is, without having to select code here and go and choose a code, I'll just be like, okay, for this next measurement, I'm collecting a manhole. I'll just select manhole. It will change the code, and as well at the same time measure to the point that I'm sighting to. So in this case, the data is, the horizontal angle is 350 for 2 minutes and 55 seconds. The vertical angle is 88 degrees 30 minutes and 59 seconds, and the slope distance is 36.738 meters. Okay, then I'm going to select OK. So that point is saved, point 3 is saved. Okay, so if I go to map again, I'll find that there's my point 3. Okay, So that's another way to do that. You select one of the codes, you cite to the point you want to measure, and you select the code for that point, and DuoSoft will measure to that point automatically. Okay. So another way you can do it, of measuring is you can measure an offset point. So the way this works is you cite to where the point is supposed to be. Decide to where that point is supposed to be, and the way the reason you'd use an offset is that you'll find that you can't put a target at the point where you want to measure, but in order to get a measurement to represent that point, you measure in an offset. Okay, but what you do first is you measure to that point, and that measurement will only measure an angle. It will only measure angle data, because you can't physically access that point. So you get angle data to that point and you measure to an offset. Okay, so this is what DuoSoft will do. So if you select offset, you measure to an offset point and you measure to the point, even though it's not accessible, but you measure angle data to that point, and DuoSoft will get the coordinates, will compute the coordinates of the exact point, even though you've measured to an offset. Okay, so let's do an example of this. Okay, so I'm going to select measure point. Okay, let me change the code first. Let's say this is to a fence. Okay, and I'm going to select this measure point. The horizontal angle to that fence point is 351, 40 minutes and 6 seconds, and the vertical angle is 88.2722, and I'm going to select OK. So this is just the angle data to the point. So now I'm going to measure to an offset to that point. Okay, so let's say I've moved 1 meter in front of the point so that I can be able to get a distance measurement. So the angular data is 351, 40 degrees, 10 seconds, and the vertical angle is 88 degrees, 27 minutes and 25 seconds, and the slope distance is 36.928. I'm sorry, it's 36.941, and I'm going to select OK. So DuoSoft will get the angular measurements from the offset point and the angular measurements from the real point, as well as the slope distance, and it will be able to calculate the horizontal distance between the real point and the offset point, as well as the slope distance. So this is the distance between the offset point and the exact point, and this is the vertical difference between the two. So if I select save, DuoSoft will save 0.4. So my point has been saved now. If I go to map, I'll see that, okay, there's my point has been saved. My 0.4 is there, it's saved. Okay, now let me go back. Okay, so if I want to, let's say I want to bring in a control point to my data, and I want to survey a point in as a control point, I would select control point here, and I measure to that point, and that point will be saved to the control points list. Okay, so the first thing I will do is I will change the code to the code of a control point. I think this one is a code of a control point. Yeah, CNT control point. Okay, so I'll select CNT and then I'll select new control point. Okay, so by doing this, I'm bringing a control point into my job. Okay, so the horizontal angle to this control point is 22 degrees 54 minutes and 36 seconds. The vertical angle is 86 degrees 55 minutes and 8 seconds, and the slope distance of 23.475 meters. And then I'm going to select that, and my control point has been saved. Okay, so if this is like how you would collect your data. You measure it, you just measure, you select the code that you want, that control point that you surveying. If you select it, DuoSoft will, you cite that point, you select the code, DuoSoft will measure to that point and save it. And these are the collection codes that I have saved. You can, if you just go to that point you want to collect, you choose the collection code that represents it, you select the collection code, it measures and collects that point. If you want to add a new point, new code, you select new code, and you'll be able to add a new code to represent a point that you want to collect. And if you want to select a code from the list, you select code, and you're able to select the defined codes or create a new code also. And this is where you put in the target height. And DuoSoft, after it has measured to the point you want to collect, it will display for you the coordinates of that point. And that, in short, is how you collect data using a total station in DuoSoft Field. Thank you.